Yes? Okay, thank you. So it's gonna take place, again, like last time, it's gonna take place 9:30 a.m. in RCB 100, okay? And then bring your pencil and eraser, okay? Bring your pencil and eraser. I want you to come with those because you're going to draw diagrams, okay? And there'll be no cell phone, during the exam, okay? You have to be there in person. This question formats, the questions, were including multiple choice, about 40 questions of those or 35, and true or false, okay, about 5 to 10 questions. And then we have 3 to 4 mini case, just like last time, exactly the same thing as last time, okay. Content, so the content will be chapters 2, chapter 2, 4, 6, and 7. 4 and 7. But my emphasis will be 6 and 7. But because chapter 2 is ER diagrams, chapter 4 is the relational model. And then chapter 7 and 6 is about SQL. Okay, these are all interrelated. By now you should know about this. So I will have these questions all together, but with emphasis on SQL. And I will give you some SQL language and then ask you to tell me, will the SQL give us the right result or a wrong result. If the wrong result, I ask you, why are we having mistakes? I'll give you some ER diagram and ask you, whether the SQL, code is correct. And vice versa. I will give you some SQL codes and ask you to draw the ER diagrams. So, yeah, Marshall, you have a question. Okay, so let me just repeat your question to everyone else. Would you say the relational model question would be similar to the one on the first? Similar but not the same. I probably would not. I will probably would not ask you. I will not give you a case. Like a student and professors and department ask you to, and then you ask you to draw ER diagram. It won't be like that. I might, write some codes, like like our homework. I'll just give you some codes, but reversely, I'll ask you based on the code. Can you show me the ER diagram the codes represent? Okay, so I'm not going to ask you. I will ask you to draw ER diagram, but not from the case. I'll ask you to do that based on the SQL codes. All right. I may also give you a ER diagram and then show you some codes and ask you whether these codes are correct or not. So you can either do it from the ER diagram to relational model, and then to the SQL codes. Okay, or if you really understand about this one, you can do it the other way. You can do it the other way, like this. Okay, from SQL code, you should be able to do the relational model, or you can do it do the ER diagram. Either direction, you should be able to. You should be comfortable before you leave my class by the end of the semester. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. There will be, Zen Michael, there will be no final exam. There will be no final exam. Your final exam, in my opinion, is your submission of milestone 4. Milestone 4 is the integration of all the knowledge I teach you in the class. So that's a synthesis of chapter 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7. These are the most important knowledge about database management. So your milestone 4 equal, to your final exam. Okay. Okay. That's an integrated understanding of database knowledge. If you can master chapter 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7, I'm comfortable to call you my student, after your graduation. All right. Okay. Everything else, should be the same for the exam. Very similar, to our last exam. Okay. Usually, student, perform better in the second exam than the first one. But I'm a little bit concerned today because the grades for the homework 2, for milestone 3 are good, but the grades for your homework 2 are not ideal. So I spent quite some time thinking about what we should do. And my decision is that I want to spend a chunk of our class time today, go through the detail for homework 2, so that you can know how to write the SQL in a correct manner. Okay. Okay. So far so good. Can you give me some response? Thank you, Coleman. Okay. Thank you, Vasu, Amand. Okay, Elena. Okay, Doha. Thank you, Harry. Okay, so far so good. Thank you, Quillen. Now, let me just shift the gear. I'm going to open that the file for milestone 3 and review that really quick. In just a second. Where's the grade? The grade sent to. I think the grade is in iCollege. Can you guys take a look? The grade are not ideal. Homework 2, the grade are not good. Some group got. Yes.
Yeah, Professor, I have not posted the grades in iCollege yet. I'll post it today only.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can do it after. How about you do that after today's? No.
Yeah, after the session, I'll post it because I want to be sure that homework assignment 2, I had one doubt regarding one group. So once that is done.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now, I want to go through milestone 3 before we go to the homework 2. Okay. Team project. Give me just a second. Answers for milestone 3. All right. So let me share this file. I'm going to share my file. My PowerPoint and my PDF. Okay, I'm sharing my PDF right now. Can you guys see my PDF? Okay, thank you. So last week, Payil, one question: Have we posted the result, for milestone 3?
No, Professor, we haven't. Like, I received your mail at 1 in the night, so I did not know. I had to post.
Oh. Okay. Well, what I can say is that for milestone 3, your grades are not bad. Are good. Most of you got good grades. But I just want to ensure one thing. Payil, can you also do that? Just send them to the iCollege, by group. Okay, so they can see your mark. Yes, Payil?
I'll do that. Do you want me to do it right now, or do you want me to do it after the class gets over?
Not right now. That's not a priority, because they did it okay. They did it okay for this exercise. Okay, but guys, I want to show you the relational model. Okay, for I want to show you the relational model for milestone 3. So I'm showing you I want to make sure that you can see my PDF file right now. Okay, so I believe you can see that right now. And so this is what I want to do. Pen tool. Okay. So, we have these like, campus programs, and then the members. These are all the easy ones. Okay. But, I also need to show you the ER diagram. The ER diagram. Okay. The ER diagrams. Let me show you Are you guys seeing my PowerPoint file right now? Thank you, Harry, Elena. Yes, thank you for your confirmation. So the last time we talk about, there are multi-value attributes. Okay, and this is the one thing we need to resolve when you convert your ER diagram into your relational model. Okay. And there are two ways to handle this question. The first way, I'm switching to the slides. Blank screen. Can you see my PowerPoint file right now? Okay, you cannot see anything. I gotcha. Okay. I just start sharing again. Let me share the file one more time. Can you see my PowerPoint right now? Not yet, not yet. Yes, okay, thank you, Harry. Good news. Okay, so for our milestone 2 of the term projects, of the team project, okay, the challenge, before we convert that into a relational model is how can we address the problem, of the multi-valued attributes. That's quarterly targets. And that's a problem for a committee member, for donor type, and for campus. Okay? So there are two possible solutions. So one possible solution, so is what I show in my PDF file, okay, that I show you last time. Let me know if you can see my PDF file right now. I'm switching to PDF file. Yes, okay. So, one of the approach, I've been suggesting is to separate that multi-value attributes. Using this. So we have the parents. The parent is the campus, and then we separate that multi-value attributes into another relation or entity, and that is this one. Okay, that's this one. I can have a primary key for this, and then I can have the whole entity created. I also have this one, campus ID. That's my foreign key. Here I have for what year, say 2019. What's the expectation for quarter 1? quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. Okay. So that is actually, for solution 1, I mentioned to you, we can separate campus into 2 relations, campus and campus targets. In this way, you can address the multi-valued attributes. However, there's another solution, that I talk about in class. That's in the PowerPoint, part 1 for chapter 4, part 1 of 2, part 1 of 2. Okay. So how can you do that? What you do is that, by creating 3 attributes, or convert that into 3 attributes. The first one is the campus. The second one is campus target, like what we have. And then you create, instead of having campus as a foreign key right here, okay? What I suggest to do is that create an associate entity connecting the first one and then the second one, campus and campus targets. So this might be a little bit confusing. So what I'm going to do right now is going to open that PowerPoint file we had, in class. Let me just open that file right now. Let me just open that file right now, PowerPoint. Okay, and that's, okay. So I am in I'm in the PowerPoint file right now, and that is slide. Can you see that? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay. This is slide 24, figure 410, for part 1, of 2, chapter 4. So I'm seeing this very similar. I'm seeing these multi-valued attributes in the entity employee. So how can I convert this into, address this issue? One possible solution, is to do this. So I can do is multi-value attribute. I can use associate entity as a solution. So this is what you can do. Okay, you just convert this one entity, employee entity in the left-hand side. In the left-hand side, you create that. Okay, so these become, you still have entity called employee, but you are creating skill as another table. Usually we call this the lookup table or master table. Usually it's a lookup table. And then we have these, employee and registry as an associate entity. It's registering which employee have what kind of skill. So if you convert this into a relational model in the bottom of this slide, it looks like this. I have an employee table, I have a skill table or relation, that's the lookup table, and then I have this registry. Okay, so I know some of you, use this associate entity approach as the answer to your at milestone 3, which is fine with me. So you have 2 different kind of solution, but serve the same purpose. They serve the same purpose. Okay, is that all right? Okay, so yes, hey Marshall, you're asking, is there a day that you can come to my office, to look at test 1? I've actually released, I've offered 1 week for you guys to come and take a look at test 1. If you still want to do that, Payel has agreed to help on, Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay. If you want to look at your test 1 again, or ask any question before for chapter 2 to 7, you can come between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Monday. Okay, next Monday. What's the day of that day? That's November. That's November. What's the day of that day? Can someone tell me? That's November 11. Yes, yes, that's November 11. No, for that, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can just come, first come, first serve. Payel, will be in my office. Will be in my office. My office number is RCB 905. Okay? Okay. And then, if you have any question this week for homework 2, milestone 3, you can also, send me and Payel email. We can try to answer those to you. Okay? Answer your questions. All right. So far, so good. Yes, yes. Great, great, great. All right. Hey, Payel, are you ready for going through the? Okay, I have another question. Just as exam 1 was very similar to homework, would you say the same thing about exam 2? Yes. Yes, exam 2 is similar to homework, and then also milestone 2 and milestone 3. Yes, they are similar. Thank you, Vasu. All right. So I suggest you, if any question, you just come and visit, Payel on Monday, or you can email us. Okay. But I still think face-to-face, interaction is much, much richer than the virtual one. So I would encourage you to leverage, Payel's presence in the campus. So hey, Payel, are you there? Are you ready?
Yeah, Professor, can you give me 10 more minutes, please?
Yes.
Almost all questions I have to make some change, so just
No
10 more
problem.
minutes. Thank you.
No problem. Yes, this is actually I'm thinking about. Okay, so guys, this is what I suggest right now. Okay, because when we go through the homework 2, the answers, it won't be light. You will be a little bit intensive, and I want your full attention. I want your full attention. How about let's have a break. Let's have a break. And then let's come back at say 10:15. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Let's take a break first today. Because we want to have more focused and very intensive interaction once you come back for homework 2. Is that all right? Okay, okay. So take a break and then come back at the 10:15. Although I will record a session, but I want you to be here and I want you to raise any question you have for homework 2. All right? Okay, I see you. I see you at 10:15. Hey, Payel, I'm muting my microphone in this environment in WebEx. You can call me through through Skype if you want. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Let Payil present to you right now because she marked your answers for the homework too. And one thing I want to clarify is that, for your homework too, I sent out two Word documents, and as the result, those are not correct. Please don't count out those two files. Payel it will send you a new file, and then but more importantly, she's going through that file with all of us. Okay, give me just a second. I need to I need to record the session. I'm recording the session right now. So because this is extremely important. Okay. All right. Payel, why don't you give me a second? It's not coming out. Payel, give me a second. Okay. So just remember that when you share the file, how do you call that?
I have already shared, Professor. Is there anything you want me to include?
I know that, yes. Okay, so maybe you can try and then just put this in the upper, lower left, and then when you present your Word document, or you can try that. So, okay, tell us, speak. Shoot.
Okay. So in your homework assignment, you had two tables. One is employee and one is department. So this is how the ER diagram for that particular homework assignment would look like. So what this basically means that, so in a department, multiple employees can work. So therefore we have this optional to many relationship over here. So Professor, how do I, they cannot see my mouse, right? Can you guys see the mouse moving?
Yes, we can see your mouse. Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay,
fine.
good then. Oh, good.
You can see your mouse. Another thing you can probably do, is to on the right-hand side of the PowerPoint, there's an arrow pointing up. You can click that once. Yes, on the right, on the right. After
This one? Select.
No.
This
No,
one?
no. On the very right.
Okay.
Yes, to the right. There's an arrow, just no. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead with what you have.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that is what this basically means. So an employee can work in department, and a department has multiple employees. So this is basically 0 to many. So a department can have employees, or it may not even have employees, and there can be multiple employees. That is what this particular.
Can you speak slower?
Oh.
Can you speak slower? Just in case they don't follow.
Sure. Yeah. So what I was trying to say is we have two tables. One is employee and one is department. In employee, it contains all the details of the employee along with the department number. The department number is a foreign key which belongs to the department table. If you see here, it is the primary key in department table, department number. So what this relationship basically means is that in a department, 0 to many employees can work. Okay, and an employee can also work in a department. So here it is a mandatory one relationship. So an employee has to work in some department. Okay, and also what you see in this particular relationship is an employee is also a manager of another employee. So because he's a manager, he will have some sort of manager ID here, but he will also be present in the employee details. And this also means that an employee is supervised by only one person, but the supervising manager can have multiple employees under him. That is basically what the CR diagram or what your question meant. Is this part clear, or do you have any questions from this?
Can I quickly weigh in? No, just at one point that if you read the unary relationship, I think this is where most students got wrong. Payel, can you add for the manager? Just let them know it's also a foreign key. I forgot to highlight that. Manager is also a foreign key right now, but it's pointing to. So if I have a manager number right here, it's pointing to which employee is my manager. okay, is my manager. So, this is actually, so we have actually two foreign key. When I drew the diagram, I think I forgot to put that over there, but I can send you later, okay? But I just want to let you know because there are two relationships right here. One is the pointing from department number in the employee table, that's a foreign key, to the primary key, department number in the department table. That's a very simple and easy to understand one-to-many relationship. But the other one, the unary relationship, there's a manager of each employee. So that's a little bit more special. Okay, a unary, and running a unary or self-join relationship is usually much more complicated than a two-table one-to-many relationship. And you want to pay particular attention in these regards. Okay, okay. So guys, are you guys clear so far in terms of this question? Okay, the ER diagrams. Okay, thank you, Eleno. Thank you, Eleno. And then Asita, Azar. Okay, okay. So I pass the baton to you again, Payel. And then don't worry about that. We have time. I want to make sure that they understand each of these questions.
Sure.
Okay, I'll mute my microphone right now.
Okay, thank you. So we'll now go to the questions for your homework assignment 2. So this is the first question. This is also a question where a lot of you have made mistakes. So I'll tell you where you've also made mistakes. So later it'll be easier for you to understand. So what Professor and I thought would be easier for you to, when you go through this document, will be, we have color coded it based on the query and the question. So if you simply match the yellow ones with the yellow ones in the query, you would understand that that is the part we want you to do in the query. So this question was, you have to provide information on the name, salary, department ID of employees whose salary is higher than $1,000. So this is, yeah.
Payel, sorry for interruption. Can you, enlarge the size of the screen of the Word document? Bottom right, yes. You can leverage the screen better. Yes, yes, like
is it
this.
better?
Okay. Yes, much better.
Okay.
And then you can move down a little bit so they can see the question and the answer in the same time.
Sure, yeah, no problem. So, yeah, the salary needs to be higher than 1,000 and lower than 3,000, but it should not include the 1,000 and the 3,000 value. So 1,000 and 3,000 are not inclusive. That is something important that you have to keep in mind when you have questions like this. The next part of the question says that you have to order the results by the amount of salary in descending order. Okay, so the answer would be something like this. So the select part is nothing but the information that you have to provide. So name, salary, and department ID of employees. So that is why we have name, salary, and department number from the employee table. Okay. Now coming to this part, a lot of you have actually used between. So salary between 1,000 and 3,000. So the difference between and using these symbols is that when you use between, it basically includes the values that you are giving before and after the between keyword. Okay, but if you do it in this manner where you are specifically mentioning that the salary has to be greater than 1,000 and has to be lesser than 3,000, then it is not including 1,000 and 3,000 in the result set. Okay, and then what we are doing is the later part of the question, that is we are ordering it based on the salary and it has to be in a descending order. So we have to specifically mention DESC. DESC is the keyword for descending. I'm going to quickly show this to you in here. So this is my query. When I run this, you will find that all the salaries that I have got are either greater than 1,000 or lesser than 3,000. Now, if I used between query, I hope I'm writing the query correctly. Yeah. If I use between query, you will see that 3000 is also getting included, right? But we do not want that. It was specifically mentioned that we do not want 1000 and 3000 to be included, right? So therefore, avoid between when you do not want the upper and lower limit to get included. If you want them to be included, you can use between. It is basically similar to writing something like this, greater than equal to. Is this part clear? Is question number 1 clear?
Guys,
Have
so
any
far so
question?
good. Any question?
Yeah, okay. So moving to the next question. So this is how your answer should have looked like. So 10 rows.
Wait a minute. Asita, I have a question.
Yes, I am not able to see the question. Can you please tell me, Professor?
Okay. Let me see what's the question. Asita's the question, Asita's question is that instead of saying, one salary lower than one, higher than 1,000 and lower than 3,000 in two separate, can you put that, salary is higher than 1,000 and lower than 3,000 in one sentence like this? Let me copy and paste that. Can you write something like this?
Where are you? Actually, Professor, how do I see what they're...
If you move your cursor to the top of the screen, you'll see, there's a chat.
Oh, okay, I can see now.
And then you can
Yes.
scroll it down. Yeah. So Asita and then others, what you can what you can probably do is whenever you have doubt like this, just try to comment by yourself. Just try to close. So Payel, can you try that code right here?
This
Where?
one?
Yes. Just the comment you can say 1,000 smaller than, yes. Let's run it to see what happens.
It'll actually...
This is the best way to answer. Yes.
So it'll throw error.
I don't know. It doesn't work. Not this way.
So
Okay.
this is not the correct syntax, Asita. So it will not identify. If I try interchanging, I think Olena is asking me to do that. Let me just try. This might just work. Let me see. No, it doesn't work. See, you see the pink thing that comes up here? This basically means that there's a syntactical error. So anyway, it won't work.
Yes.
Okay. So the other thing that Vasu, you were asking, yeah, I can do a 1001 and 2999. So this one you can use for between. Like if you want to do a between query and you want to give 1001 and 2999, then it would not have included 1000 and 3000, which would have been correct for this answer. But unfortunately, none of you.
Can you show that in your comment?
Yeah.
So 1,001 smaller than between 1,001 and 2,000.
And 2999.
Yes.
Oh, what is wrong? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this would have worked and it would have given you the correct answer, same answer you would have got. Because then it will include 1001 and 2999, which are perfectly acceptable for this question, right? But did I answer your question, Vasu? You can use this, but you have to use this with between then. Did you guys have any more questions, or we can move to the next question? Okay, all right. So let's go to the next one. So the next question says, for each employee, provide information on his or her name and the name of his or her department, ordered by department name in ascending order. So again, we have to provide information on name and department. So that part is highlighted here, name and department. Now name and department is coming from two different tables, employee and department, and therefore we are joining it on the basis of department number. And you have to order them based on the department name. So department name we have ordered, and because it is mentioned ascending, so therefore we are doing it in an ascending order.
Uh,
Yes, papers.
just a quick comments, guys. Whenever you have you need attributes from two different tables like this. I need department name. I also need employee name. So you're coming from two different tables. Then a key question is that look at the question number 2. If I have 4 comments right here: Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right, between the question and answers. Can you highlight the second question, Hayel? Okay. So if answer this question, you need take attribute from more than one table. Then you have to think about how can I link these two tables, and that is the third line of this comment, where the E department number equal to D department number. This is extremely important. Whenever you involve a query that involves more than one table, you have to think about how can you link these tables. And the secret link list table is in the third line, right? Can you highlight that one? Can you highlight the third line of the codes? Yes. You see that we use the yellow color representing the department number, everything about the employee table, okay? And then we use the green color to represent everything about the department table. And then the equation right here, you can see where's the foreign key in one table linked to the primary key in another table. All right? Okay, always put bear this in mind. When you have more than one tables involved in the query, how can you link them or how can you relate them? Sorry for interruption. I pass baton back to you. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So one common mistake that almost everybody made was you were providing the name. So till this part, everybody did correctly. So you were giving the correct table names and you were able to identify which column comes from which table. But the where part was missing. So this is very, very important, as the professor mentioned. Unless you specify what has to join with what, like how can you join the two tables, Oracle won't understand. You have to tell them explicitly on which basis you want them to be joined. Unless you specify that, it is going to give you everything, and that is wrong. That is not what we require, right? So this part is very important. Anytime you join, ensure that you give a join condition. The join condition is very, very important, because this was this was one of the problems which you guys have done in almost all the subsequent queries that are going to come. So this was a pretty straightforward question. Let me just quickly run this and show you.
Okay.
So this was the answer that was expected. So if I don't give the join condition, what would happen is it would keep on repeating the names of the people. Okay. So this was the expected answer. Some of you did this correctly, but a lot of you made the mistake at this point. Do you have any questions for this particular query? Is there any doubt?
Sorry, can you run the statement without that join condition?
Yeah, sure. So if I completely remove the join condition, it is. So do you see how many results I'm getting? So let me just. So if you see, Adams himself is repeating so many times, because now it is like joining the entire employee table with the entire department ID on every column. I'm sorry, every row. On the basis of every row, it is joining. Exactly, Asita, you have to use the foreign key. That is what we are trying to say. Here, department number was the foreign key, right? In both, it was the primary key for department table, but it was foreign key in employee table. That is why we were joining on the basis of department number.
Can you show them they have some question. Can you show them the ER diagram?
Sure. Yeah.
And let them know where that equation means. Where does that join mean?
So this is the department number present in the employee table, and this is the department number present in the department table. It is the primary key for department, and you're joining on the basis of this. Asita, it is advisable to use primary key, but not always you will find it is the primary key. Sometimes there are other columns also which can act as the foreign key in a different table. So it would depend from table to table, but for this particular question, we needed to use department number.
So, let me repeat, the question from Asita. Asita have a question. By the way, Payo, can you, given that you only show this, can you enlarge the diagrams or the ER diagrams? Just
Sure.
click that one and enlarge that. You can, okay, yes. So the question that from Asita is that for the join condition, do we always use the primary key or can we use a foreign key? So the answer to that question is that whenever you have this question about which one should be the primary key, which one should be the foreign key, and which attribute from what table, always go back to the ER diagram or the relational model. So the reason why I draw this ER diagram first before I going down to answer to all these 10 questions, because the ER diagram shows the relationship amongst the attributes of these tables. As you can tell, department number in the department table is a primary key, and the department number in the employee is a foreign key. So I need to create a link between the two. Okay, yes. Does that answer your question? The link means the join or the equation, in the SQL statement. Asita, does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. So, Payo, I pass the baton back to you.
Okay, so I'm moving on to the next question. So, okay, just before I go, this is an alternative way you can write the same code. Here we are simply specifically mentioning the join keyword. If you do not want to mention,
Payo, don't worry about that. I just show them a term answer. They can figure out by themselves. Okay.
oh, okay. Great.
Let's offer on the first answer. That's sufficient. Yes. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
The next one.
So the next question is, for the employees who work in either sales or research department, please provide the employee ID, employee name, and department name. Now you have to display the outcome in ascending order of the department name. Okay, so it is mentioned that you have to display employee ID, employee name, and department name. So this is the employee number, employee name, and department name. Again, they are coming from two different tables. So employee and department has been provided in the from. And because we are joining to different tables, we have to mention the join condition. Okay. Now the next part of the question was, we have to only consider those employees who are working in sales and research department. So what would we do is, we will specifically mention that we want them to either be in sales or in research. Okay. So this is how you write an or kind of thing in Oracle. Okay, and then you have to order it by the department name in an ascending order, which is the last part of the question. So you have to order the outcome in ascending order of the department name. So this is how you will write the query. Now, let me just run this to you. Okay. So here you will be able to see that we only have research and only sales department employees. That is what was required. And it has been arranged in the ascending order of the name. So S comes after R. So therefore the research people came in first and then the sales people came. This is pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions for this, like from this one?
I do have a question. Suppose we replace the or by
Sorry, Asita, what did you say?
I'm asking if it was said, I'm changing the question a little bit to sales, if it was said to sales and research department instead of sales or.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, so instead of or, if it was and, you want to say?
Yes.
So you can actually, yeah. So let me show you 1 second.
Try it. Yes.
second, DAPT is D dot, oh, sorry, it's the D name, right? Sorry. So unfortunately, we do not have anybody working in both sales and research. If we had, it would have shown up. Maybe write something like this. The AND keyword works for you. Does this answer your question, Asita?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you run again? You know, I also wonder if this one will give you any results.
No, this one.
Just this, or you know, DNAME equal to sales, or can you stop right now? Can you hold? Okay, guys, you know, can someone tell me when we run this statement right here, why aren't there any result coming out? Can anybody answer that question? Why? Why don't we have any result coming out? And there's no problem. The syntax is correct. Exactly, you know, Charles, Olena, you know, and then Sarah, okay? Because nobody works in two departments. If you look at, you know, Payel, can you click the table relation?
This one or?
In the ER diagram, no, in the Oracle. Go to the resource on the left-hand side. And then you just click the table employee.
Department? Employee?
Employee, the department name, the employee. You look at that, you know, in the department number. And you click the data, Let's look at data. Is there anybody working more than one department? Guys, no. The answer is no. So, you know, it's not possible you find an employee who works in both departments in the same time. However, let's go back to your SQL statements. You know, can you change the AND become OR? Let's run again. Wow, we have the answer right now. So it works. So what's the logic? Now the logic is that, you know, I can, anybody, as long as you work in sales or the research departments, you know, I want the results, okay? So if you look at the where condition, we have two where condition right now. On the left-hand side, the E department number, the foreign key, can you highlight that? Equal to D department, you know, number, the foreign key, the primary key. That's exactly the one-to-many relationship between the two tables we showed you before. But now I want to further filter. I only want the ones in the sales department or the research departments. So that's why, you know, if you put AND between those two departments, it's not going to work. Okay? This is great opportunity to learn, you know, on the flight. But thank you very much. I just pass the button back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions or should we move ahead? Do you have any other questions from this query? Okay. All right. So we'll move to the next one. Okay. So the question is, provide information on employee's name, employee's salary, employee's manager ID, and the employee's manager name. If the employee makes more than equal to $2,000, so that's one of the conditions. So basically, if an employee is making more than $2,000, we have to display these information about him. And then whatever result comes up, we have to order it by the salary in an ascending order. Okay. Now, one more thing that was mentioned is we should not be including any employee who does not have a manager. Okay. So how are we going to do this one? So it is basically whatever has been provided for display purposes, you will provide them in the select query. So employee name, salary, manager, and the manager's employee name. So basically this is also an employee. Your manager is also an employee. This is the unary relation that we were talking about. So this is a self join. Whenever you have a unary kind of relationship in the ER diagram, that usually results into a self join. So we are joining the employee table with the employee table on the basis of the employee number and the manager. So if you see the data, let me show you the data again. So if you see the data, so whatever employee number is over here, in the manager column also, you basically have the same things only, but these are basically people to whom they are reporting. So for example, Miller here is reporting to somebody with the employee number 7782. Now 7782 is this person, Clark. So it would basically mean that Miller is reporting to Clark. Okay. So to show that kind of relationship, we use a self join, where we are joining the employee with the employee table on the basis of the employee number and the manager ID or manager number, whatever is present. Because the manager, if you remember, is the foreign key in that employee table. Professor, you wanted to say something?
No, before you go further, can you show them the ER diagram again and show which relationship we are talking about right now?
Yeah, we are talking about this relationship, the unary
Yes.
one.
So the manager of the employee table is equal to the employee number in the employee table, right? So this is why we are having that equation. Can you go back to your Word document? Okay, so we have this relationship. Manager, E is the alias for the employee table, right? If you look at the second line of the code. And then M is alias for the manager table. Manager is based on employee table. So we have one table involved in this whole operation. But we have two alias for the same table, E and the M. Okay, so this is actually what we talk about in chapter 4 when you have this unary relationship. This is how you create a unary relationship. If you do not understand about these parts, I strongly suggest you spend about at least 1 hour, in chapter 4 to go through and understand this one. Because to me, I think the most difficult relationship in terms of join is self-join, because it's really complicated. You have one table and it's joining itself. Okay, Sarah, you have a comments. Which part you want me to repeat? Okay. Join, a unary relationship is a table, joining with itself. So employee table is having a relationship with itself, and that's a unary relationship. But for that to happen in SQL, okay, in Oracle, you have to use two alias for the same table. One is the E representing the employee, M representing the manager. And then you have the equation on the third line where E dot manager is that the manager attribute of the employee table equal to the employee number in the manager table. Okay, so this is essentially critically important. I think that's the most difficult parts of the SQL comments. Once you figure out this, I think the rest should be can be sorted out with time. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, Payel, sorry for interruption. I'll let you continue.
Okay, so the next part was we needed employees who are making more than $2,000. So we have just kept that the employee salary should be greater than equal to $2,000. See, here we have mentioned greater than equal to because in the question it was specifically told that we need employees who are making more than or equal to $2,000. And then we had to order the outcome by ascending, like by the salary in an ascending order. So that is the part which is provided here. Let me quickly run this for you. So this is the result that you'll get. So this is the employee name and this is his manager, the salary of the employee. And if you see, it's in an ascending order based on the salary. Okay. So only figuring out the join is the part which is actually a little complicated. Rest is pretty much straightforward, I think. The salary greater than or the order by, these things are pretty much common. But only figuring out the join for self-join is a little bit tricky. Once you are able to understand that, this part will not be difficult for you. Any questions from, any other questions from this particular query? Or can we move forward? Okay, let me just go to the next question. Okay, not null comment. Okay, so if you wanted them to be not null, I think you can also add. So here anyway, we have not got anybody who is null because we are joining on the basis of employee number and manager. So when you join Asita on the basis of manager and employee number, because you do not have null present in employee number, it won't get joined. So the null will be anyways thrown out of this query. You will not get anybody who is null. But if you specifically want to mention, you can also mention that manager is not null, like something like that. You can also mention this, but it is not really required, is what I'm trying to say. Is that answers your question?
Can you also run this one to show them?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the reason that we don't need e-manager is not null is because the join. Can you highlight the join parts?
Yeah.
Okay. You see here, we only want the employees who has the managers. That's where the equation will work out. Okay. If we don't have these equations, and all the employee, all the managers will show up. By having this equation, we'll only show the employee who has managers and the managers who have employees. Otherwise, you will not show up. Okay. So when you have a join condition within one table or across tables, only the data that show up in both tables will be called out. Is that clear to you, Asita? Thank you. That's a great question. Okay, Payo, your turn.
Okay, let's move on to the next question then. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The next question says, for every department, provide the department ID, number of employees working in the department, total salary of the department, average salary of the department, ordered by the total average of the department in descending order. I'm sorry, I think it is average salary of the department. I'm sorry, this is average salary of the department. I'll just correct it. I'll correct this one, you guys anyway. Of the department in a descending order. Please do not include any department that does not have any employee. Okay, so whatever.
Can you, sorry, can you double click the margin between the two pages, the empty space between the two pages?
Here?
Nope. Just close the header and footer. Yes, and then scroll a little bit down, and then or just make the yes. So they won't cross the page. Just insert a space. So all the answer questions show on one page. Yes. Okay, like this. Great.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have department number, count of employee number, because we have been asked to take the number of employees working in the department. So we are taking count of the employees. Then total salary of the department. This is sum of the salary and the average salary. So this is average salary. Sum and average and count, these are all inbuilt functions of Oracle. So this will do the job for you. They will simply take the count, sum, and the average of the value that you provide within the brackets. Now here we have to do a group by. Why? Because it is mentioned that we are only interested for the employee or the salary or the average of people working in a specific department. So therefore, we are doing the group by on the basis of the department number. So the answer would look something like, if two people are working in the same department, it is going to show the count as 2. It is going to show the sum of their salaries, and it is going to show the average of their salaries. Something like that. Now, it is also mentioned that please do not include any department that does not have any employee. So here we have specifically mentioned department number is not null. Here we are not joining with any other table, so we do not have any sort of join condition or any kind of equation that will remove the not null value. So specifically we have to mention that department number is not null. And the ordering part is pretty much straightforward. It has to be ordered on the basis of the total average salary of a department in descending order. Just the average salary.
Yes, can cross out total. Yes.
Yeah.
So so while you are modifying that, yes, I just want to let you guys see that you see that the part we use the green color, counts, summary, and average. All of these are so-called what? Aggregate function, right? And when I teach you in chapter 6, I told you, whenever you see the aggregate function, you have to think about group by, because only in a group I can know what's the sum, I can know what's the average, I can know what's the minimum, I can know what's the counts, okay? So I need to have, what's the keyword for group by? There's no keyword here. Can you just highlight both of that? Group by, both of those? Yes. A group by, just group by. Just group by, not department number. Just group by, yes. Okay? Use the green backgrounds. Highlight them as green backgrounds, as I did for group. Okay? And then, so whenever you see aggregate function, you also need to think about group by. But when I group by, I need to group by something. So what do I group by right now? I group by department, right? Department number. So whatever I group by, I need to select that. That is why we have this 2 yellow color. Because I group by department number, I need to also select that in the very first line of the comments. That's why we have 2 yellow highlight right here. Okay, and all of these coming from the same table. That's the employee table. However, as Payal mentioned, that we only want, we don't want that any department that has no employees. Okay. So for an employee table, we don't want any employee where the department number has nothing. That's the third line. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you. Whenever you see aggregate function, always think about group by. When you think about group by, you have to think about what do you want group by with. And here we want to group by with department number.
So if you read the question, the very first line actually tells you what you need to group it by. So it told you based on every department, right? For every department, you have to find these details, right? So then you have to understand, because it is asking for, you have to find the details of employees based on every department. Therefore, you are grouping it by the department number. Okay. And as Professor mentioned, whatever you mention in group by has to go in select. If it would be like 2 columns or anything, whatever you mention, A, B, C, whatever is there in group by has to come in select also. These are the 2 things that you have to really remember about group by. Let me quickly run this one and show you. So this is the query. And this is the result. So you have the department number and you have the count of the employees of each department. You have the sum of their salaries and the average of their salaries. And it is ordered on the basis of the salary in a descending order. So high to low. Any question from here? Thank you, Asita. Thank you, Mosquita. What if you count the department number instead of specifying where the department is null? Okay, so you want me to remove this line? If I remove this line, okay, so for this particular case, probably there were no departments which is null, but usually if there is a null value, that would also come up here. But we do not want that, so we are specifically mentioning this.
Can you, that's a great question, Charles. Can you click the Payal, can you choose the employee tab on top? Yes, employee tab.
Employee one, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Employee, yes. Let's look at employee and then show the data.
Sorry, yeah.
Let's look at department number right here. Because there's no one, has that belongs to no department. Everyone works in some department. That's why, if you can you go back to your comments, the SQL comments, Payal?
Yeah.
That's why here, even though we have that the department is not known, but the syntax is correct because everybody has some departments. So if I add a few more employee that who doesn't have any department number, then not all the result will be show up. The reason we are having all these results because everybody belongs to some departments. Okay, is that clear to you, Charles? Hey, Charles, are you there? Okay, thank you. Move on. Yes, Payel? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So the basic idea, just I wanted to say, Charles, is that here we have very less data in your table, right? But in real life, you will have thousands and thousands of rows. It won't be possible for you to check if, there is actually anything, in the department, if there is any null present or not. And you can avoid writing this here, even though it's giving the same result. You would still be required to write this one because you won't be actually knowing what is there in the table, what sort of data is there in each of the rows. You won't know that in real life scenario. So it's advisable to write this. Moving on to the next question. This one. Okay. Question number 6. Just somewhere. So the question says, provide information on employee ID, employee name, manager ID for employees whose name contains M and the department number equals 30. So I remember this is something that we had discussed in the last class only. So employee number, employee name and manager is what you have to find out. So that is what is mentioned in the select part. And then we are getting all the information from employee table. So it's just a simple employee table. And then we have, the question says that the employee we need to fetch whose name contains the letter M. It is not mentioned where it will be. It is just mentioned that the letter M is there anywhere in the name. You should be able to pick that employee. So therefore we give these 2 percentage signs before M. So this basically means that there can be something before M, there can be something after M, but M should be there somewhere in the name. And then the second part says that the department number should be equal to 30. Therefore, we have given department number equal to 30. Let me just quickly run this for you. This is also a place where a lot of you have actually made mistake. I'll show you what mistake you've made. Most of you have written it like this. So what happens is it only gives names which start with the letter M, not the names which contain the letter M. So see here in James, M is in between, and Martin, M starts with Martin. So for people who have written this, you're only getting this row.
Can you run it?
You're only getting the first row. But we needed names who contain M anywhere in the name. So this should be the correct answer. Please understand this. Any questions from this one? Yeah, Asita? Okay. All right. Let me move ahead. So this question says, for every department, please provide information on department ID, total salary. If the total salary of the department is greater than 9,000, we have to order the outcome by department ID in a descending order. Okay, so just see that it, the very first line says for every department. So you should understand that this is going to become a group by thing because it is asking you to fetch details based on departments. Then it is saying to provide information on department ID and the total salary. So in the select part, we have department number and the sum of the salary. And we have to only fetch for those for whom the department is greater than 9,000. So because we have to fetch for every department, we are grouping it on the basis of department number. And in the having, we have to give sum of salary greater than 9,000. Now, these kind of query, any kind of aggregate query, you cannot write in where. You have to write it in the having clause for group by. You have to write it in the having clause. So along with group by, you will write that the sum of the salary is greater than 9,000 as per the question. And then we have to order the outcome in a descending order based on the department ID. So we are ordering it by department number descending. Let me just quickly run this. You can ask me if you have any doubt then. So this is the how the answer would look like. Any questions from this one?
So Payel, can you go back to Word document?
Sure.
Okay, you can probably also show the, can you just click that, so you don't have to show the bell on the top.
What
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about that. And let me just explain to you guys. Can you also move down a little bit? There's only 2 line of answer, right? We can also see all the question and then answer in the same time.
Oh, sure.
Yes. 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 No, it's too much. No. Maybe you
Let
can
me
shrink the size.
yeah, I'm just doing that 1 second.
Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you. One thing that you don't see in the answers above in question 1 to 6 is the fourth line, the code having. Having is a filter, and is a very similar to where. But what's the difference between having and the where? Both of them are filter. I'm asking you a question. Can someone answer me? Yeah, Harry, you said group by. Can you elaborate? Can someone elaborate? I think you are getting to the point. What's the difference between having and then where? Yes, having goal was group by. So having is a filter that works at the group level. Where is a filter working at the individual record level. So now I select the sum of the salary for each department, the first 3 lines. But I only want the department's summary, to summarize the salary is larger than 9,000. So I'm having a result of 2 results. Okay. So what if we don't have the having? Now let me ask you, without running the codes, if I don't have this code having, how many results I'm going to see? Can someone tell me how many lines of result I'm going to see without this having comment? All of them. Sarah, smart. How many? All of them or what? All of the what? All of the employees or all of the department, right? Okay, Payeo, can you go back to the Oracle environment and let's run that code again without the having, yes, let's do it. So we are seeing the result for all the departments, okay? Thank you. I pass the baton back to you.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Yeah. So this says to provide information on number of employees, average salary, maximum salary, and minimum salary for employees who are not working in department 20. They can be working in any other department but 20. Okay, so for them we have to provide these information. So the count of employee number, average salary, maximum salary, and minimum salary for employees, and we get the information from employee table where department number is not equal to 20. This symbol basically means is not equal to. Okay? So let me just quickly run this one.
That symbol means larger or smaller than 20, right?
Yeah.
So
this is the answer that you get. Any question for this one? This was actually pretty simple. So if you have any questions, you can ask. So I'll tell you one common mistake that a couple of groups have made. So what you did was, because it was mentioned that the department number should not be 20, you gave me 3 queries where department number is equal to 10, department number is equal to 30, and department number is equal to 40. But that was not required. You can just get it in a single query by writing this. Because if you give me for each of the departments, that is not solving the purpose of the question. So what I received from a lot of you were 3 queries which said something like this. And the same query again with department number 20, and the same thing, sorry, not 20, 30, and the same thing again with 40. So every time if I run them, they are only considering one department. They're not considering the other departments, right? So we needed this query because we need to consider 10, 30, and 40 together. We just don't need to consider 20. That's it.
So can I run the code, say department number equal to 10, comma, or 30 or 40, or department number equal to 30, or department number equal to 40. Is that all right?
Yeah, this would also give the answer, Professor, but the point is, here we know how many departments are there. If we do not know how many departments are there, then we cannot hard code, and hard coding is always like you should avoid as much as you can. This would also give you the same answer anyway, but here you will be able to do this because you know how many departments are there. If you do not know how many departments are there, and you just do not want 20, so in that case, it is better to write this. But this will also give you the same answer.
One question is that if the result is correct, do we give them the mark? Can we give them the mark? If the result
If
is
the
right.
result is correct, I am giving them the mark, Professor, but this is not something they have done. None of
Yeah,
them.
yes. Okay. I got you. But guys, I think you should try to write a code. I think more in the Payel's way. Okay, I just trying to find a way to give you grades. But it's okay.
They have actually, if they would have done it in a single line, it would be easier for me to grade also. But they actually wrote it in three
It's
different
3
lines.
lines.
Yes,
Yes.
so
Okay.
that won't give the correct answer.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I hope this one is clear to
I
all
have
of you.
I
Any
have another
questions from you?
question.
Yeah.
I have another question. Is that now we see the aggregate function, but why don't we see the group by here? So, can I say group by right here? Can I say group by department number and also select department number? Can you add that?
Yeah.
So after where? After where?
After where? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yes, after where?
Shit.
Group by department number, and then also because group by only want to select that department number. Okay, so semicolon as the periods. Okay, stop right here before you run it. So guys, this is can you also copy and paste this one? I just want to make sure whenever you see aggregate function, always think about group by. The reason that group by can work out the line can work without group by here is because there's only one department number left. Is that right? Not really. Can you run again with this code?
It will give
Is
you
that
based on the
correct?
department. No, this is not correct.
So can you go back to the question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think I missed something. Oh, it's the total. Oh, we don't want group by.
Yeah, we
Yes,
don't require group by here.
we want group by. Yes, I think I'm confusing the students. So what we are doing right here is that after excluding the employees from department 20, we want to know what's the average, the counts, and the maximum. So please remove my codes. Can you just remove my codes? Remove group by and then remove department number.
Sorry, I think
There's
I
only
removed
two
where.
departments.
Yeah. It was a very simple question only. We did not need group by here.
Yes, okay. So Asita has a question. Is there any official list of frequent completion symbol for where and heavy?
Official symbol.
I don't understand her question. Do you understand, Payel?
I think she wants to know where we can use where and where we have to use having. Is that your question, Asita?
No, my question is because the symbol of not equal to 20, this is my first time to see it. So this is why I'm asking if there is any official list for those conditions so we can use it when we are trying to write the code. Because I believe it's now working like imagine now the code. You mean what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can simply Google maybe. If you want to know not equal to, you can simply Google what not equal to is in Oracle. It'll give you, but I don't think there is an official. Yeah, what Charles is showing is correct. You can use that or this, but I don't think there is an official list kind of thing. Professor, do we have any list kind of thing that we can provide? I know that there are sites in Google. I can actually give them to you. Over there, you can actually read from there, or even in the books it will be mentioned, but I don't think there is a cheat sheet or like a list of words and what kind of symbols to use against them. I have never seen one, but do we have anything like that, Professor? Like kind of a...
I do have a document that's the typical language that you can use in SQL, but most of them I know we have covered in our class. But I can still share that document with everyone else. But the key thing, nowadays, the key thing. Thank you, Charles, for finding that. What I want to say is that nowadays for coders, new generation of coders, that whenever you need to find some kind of things like this, you Google it. That's the typical solution. Even our IT support, and then just that you won't know all the solutions before you start using that. Usually you learn, when you are using it, so you learn on the fly. All the things I'm teaching right here, these are the basics. But like in the homework, this a little bit things I didn't cover in class, and I want you to either try and error by yourself, or I want you to find the answer online. Okay. But in your milestone 4 and also in the second midterm, most of the things will be already covered. Okay. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay. So if you need some site suggestions, I can actually give them to you also. If Asita, you want to do some research or something, let me know if you want. Okay. Let's move on. We are done with question 8. Next is this employee. Okay, let me just move this down. Otherwise, it's fine. It's a big question. Let me just one moment. Yeah, now you should be able to see this. Okay, so here the question is list employee name, employee salary, and the lowest paid employee working under Blake. Okay. So we have this question in 3 parts basically, and this is what we called a subquery, subquery kind of query. So how a subquery usually works is it starts from the innermost query, and then it takes the result of the innermost query and applies it at this point, and then does this like the next in line, and then the final query where it is displaying. Okay, so what it is trying to do is, we know that the employee should be working under Blake. So how do we understand that the employee should be working under Blake? We find the employee number for Blake. So what this particular green query will do is it will just fetch the employee number for Blake. Okay, now as I mentioned, we know that the manager is basically Blake. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to select the minimum salary under where the manager is Blake. So all the employees for whom the manager is Blake, we are trying to fetch the minimum salary. Okay, so whatever the result will be for this innermost query, imagine that over here in the where clause, and that will give you this result. So now you have the minimum salary. Now imagine putting the minimum salary over here. So you will simply have to fetch the name and salary where the salary is in that particular value. I'm not sure if I made sense, but let me know if I'll explain again if you have any trouble understanding. I'll run it here so it will be easier for you to understand. So when I run this, sorry, I did not select it. Okay, so this innermost query is giving me the employee number of Blake. So I know that Blake has the employee number 7698. Okay.
Payal, sorry, can you just like what you have to, create space for the second, the second, and then no for the Third, the second next query. Can you move them all to the right?
Over here in the, I'm sorry, in the same line?
And then, make space, break to the second line. Yes, like that, so they can know the structure better.
Yeah, I copied from the Word, so maybe that's why it's.
That, yes, that would be. And do that for the last one, so they can have a better, structural understanding. Okay, and yes, that's for this is for the entire, yes, okay. So, okay.
Okay, so the innermost query just gives me the employee number of Blake. Okay, now imagine the employee number coming over here. So now we know that the manager is in this particular employee number. Okay, so if I run the complete query in a complete query, it will give me the minimum salary belonging to an employee under Blake.
So if we run this one by one, so let's select employee number from employee for ename equal to Blake. Let's just run this as a single query, copy and paste.
Yeah.
And below, let's run that. Let them know what's the results. Semicolon, just run this one. Yes. So that's the employee number we have, right? So run this one, 7968, using the middle query. Yes. Select minimum salary. Okay. And what are we going to have? For manager int employee number equal to 76 query.
So the middle query basically boils down to this. And it gives you 950, which is the minimum salary.
So there's only one, there's only one employee whose manager ID is, what's that? 7698, right? And then from that, we can find the minimum salary.
I think somebody has unmuted the.
Is someone speaking, asking questions? We don't know. Okay, forget about it. Let's just move on. Okay. So can you go back to the Word document?
Yeah.
So guys, see the three different colors. Okay, we want the employee name and salary of the lowest paid employee, who are working under Blake. So first, logic is that I want to find a Blake and know what's the employee number. Okay. So once I know Blake's employee number, I can find from the employee table whose managers are what? Are Blake. Okay. So can we, go back to the employee table, go to Oracle, employee table. So right here, let's look at, we're looking for Blake, right? Where's Blake?
This is Blake. 7839 is his employee. So we have to see, I think he's 7831. He should be the manager. No, this is Blake's manager. 7698. So 7698 is this one. So Blake is the manager for James.
Is that all? If you sort by manager, can you sort by manager?
Yeah. 7698. So yeah, Blake is manager for all these people. So many people.
So Blake is the manager for all these people. And what's the salary of these people? Can you look at their salary?
Yeah, this is the salary.
So among these people, who has the lowest salary?
James.
The lowest amount is 950, and then based on 950, we can go back and find who's the owner of that salary, and it's James. Okay. There could be multiple ways for you to arrive at this answer. whichever way you write, and arrive that answer, I'm fine with that. But I just want to show you the logic, within the logic, within the logic. Okay, this is one way you can try to find the answer, and this is not uncommon. Sometimes you just have to find your manager or your customer give you this kind of request. You just have to break it down in sequence of logic. Okay, let's go back to last question.
Okay. So the last question is, yeah. The last question is, provide information on department ID and departmental average salary based on employees who make greater than or equal to $1,500.
Yeah.
So first you need to discard employees making less than $1,500 and then order the outcome by department ID in ascending order. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to fetch information on department ID and departmental average salary. So this is the department number and this is the departmental average salary. Since we have mentioned that it is departmental, you need to group by the department number. Okay, now we need to fetch employees for whom the salary is greater than or equal to $1,500, which is why we have salary greater than or equal to $1,500. Okay, now it is mentioned that we have to group by order the outcome by department ID in ascending order. So here we are ordering the department number. Now if you do not mention ASC specifically, by default Oracle will anyways do ascending order, but if you want you can also write this. But
It's
this
better
time you have to specifically mention DESC.
It's better that you always put down ESC ascending or descending, so it's more specific. Yeah. I would suggest you for beginners, this is a better way. But if you are, seasoned database and manager or query writer, then that's fine.
So let me just quickly run this for you and show this. Most of you got this correct, so yeah. Department number and average salary. It is based on the departments. Any questions from this entire list that we discussed now? Anything that you want to ask? Okay, then I'll stop sharing. Professor, you can continue.
Yes, thank you. If nobody have questions, can we have a quick break? Say we can have about a 5 minutes break. I'm sorry about that. Just go to the restroom. Have a cup of water, and we'll come back. I want you to go to the iFolder. Let me just show you that really quick. Go to iFolder. Okay, if you can. Go to the iFolder. Hey, Payel, can you not touch anything? Just let me control. I'm still, you are still co-controlling this with me. So if you go to the iFolder, just go and download this one. Go to the Oracle material. Download this one. It's called the SQL Lab session. 2 tables, customer and orders. Just download this one, and let's talk. Come back at 11:40. Let's come back at 11:40. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Professor, can you remove my access or something that I have? I stopped sharing, but I'm not sure if I have still access on your screen or not. Can you hear me, Professor? Hello?
Yes, I'll stop it.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Okay, I want you to, thank you, Pasu, thank you, Marshall. I want you to download the Word document. Okay, I mentioned it's a SQL Lab session for fall 2019. And in this table, in this lab session, you will use about 2 tables, okay? And then if you can see right here, the first table is called the customer. It's called a customer. And then the second table is called order, okay? And the customer have all these attributes. You can go through that by yourself. I don't think they are difficult at all. Can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen? The Word document? Yes. Okay. And in the order table, we have something a little bit more interesting. And then this is what I want to show you. Okay. In this table, we have the primary key. That's the order ID. The format is the integer. We have the order dates, and then we have the ship dates, the status, okay, and the order amounts, customer ID, okay. The customer ID will be also the foreign key, linked back to the primary key in the customer table. This is what I want to show you. I have this constraint. It's called a status check. Status check, okay. I have this constraint. And then, the status need to fall into one of the 3. It needs to be S, NS, or BO. So everything is single quote, okay? So this is what you can do. Okay, you can copy and paste these 2 block of codes. Just copy and paste and go to your Oracle. If you don't do that right now, it's fine, but I suggest you also do it. Copy and paste these codes and go to Oracle. Go to Oracle and then paste that. Okay. Let me change my screen size so it can show larger to you. See if I can go to this one. Keep change in the Oracle. Okay. Let's run these codes. Let's just run these codes. I want to run the first one. Oh, I already created a table. Okay. I'll close the connection. I need to connect this one again. Reconnect. Okay. Okay, supposedly, I just, okay, let me just run the code again here. Let me create a table called customer. Okay, so this table has been created. Let me create another table. No, that's called order. Okay, both of them are created. Can you see that? Now, did you see that both tables are created? Can someone confirm? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go back to my Word documents. So right now, go to you can just confirm that whether the table is this, and then now I want to add a create a relationship. create relationship by adding this foreign key constraint from the customer ID and then to the customer ID in the customer table. I want to add this constraint to the order table from the customer ID. That's my foreign key. Okay, and the name of this constraint is called the customer FK. So I just copy and paste that. Go to Oracle environments. I want to clear everything. Copy this or clear here and just run these statements. Order table. Okay, add constraints, and this is a foreign key constraints. From here, reference to where. Okay, let's run it. So the table order has been altered. This has been altered. So I have already created a relationship. Let me go back to my Word documents. Okay. And I also want to modify the table. I want to modify the attributes, order amounts. The default is $0. Okay. And then I want to make sure another attributes, it's called the status. It should not be null. So I want to modify the table as such. I just copy this line and go to the environment and paste. I want to run these statements. Just run it. Okay. So again, the table order has been changed, modified. Going back to my Word documents, I want to create an index because I'm going to search on order status attribute on order table very often. So I'm going to create an index. So let me just copy and do it right here. Create an index, run it. Okay, so I create an index like here. I create the index. So I want to do one more thing. Okay, this is going to be very useful for you guys. It's called a sequence. Sequence, so you look at the name of the sequence is called order sequence. So this sequence is going to start with 1. But whenever I use the sequence the next time, it's going to increase by 1. There's no maximum value and there's no cycle. Okay, you will see the power of this sequence comments. Later when I insert the data. I will show you very, very soon. Let's just copy and paste in Oracle environment. Copy and paste. I'm going to create a sequence. Okay, you will not see the power right now. You just need to know I create a sequence called order_seq. That's the sequence I create. We'll see the power of that very soon. Now I want to insert some data. Okay, let's insert the customers. I have 4 customers, 10, 20, 30, 40. That's Smith, Don, Ruth, and Troy. Let's copy and paste right here. Let's insert all these records. Run it, run the entire script. So I insert 4 data. There's nothing special. Okay, let's look at next one. This is interesting. I'm inserting the data about orders, and these are the attributes I'm interested about. I want to insert order ID, order dates, ship date, the status, order amount, and customer ID. Okay, so in each of these comments, I have these specified. So the customer ID is 10 for the first records, order amount $300, status satisfied, the dates, January 10, 2000, the date of shipping days, order dates, January 2000, okay? However, right here, the order ID, I didn't specify. The order ID is called the order sequence next value. And in my second order, I also don't specify the order ID. Okay, I use order ID sequence next value. And in the third order, I also don't specify, what's the order value. I use order sequence next value. Finally, in the fourth records, I also do not specify which order I use. Okay, but I use order sequence next value. Okay, Do you guys see what I'm doing right now? So the sequence we're starting with 1, followed by 2, followed by 3, followed by 4 automatically. All I have to do is to create a sequence first. That's what we have done before. And then I'm using that in a very intelligent manner. So let's copy and paste. See what happens. Okay? Let's copy and paste. Copy and paste. Okay, now I have 4 rows created. I have 4 rows created, okay? But how does that look like? Let me just refresh my resource about these tables. You know, I'm going to see in my order table, I want to see the data. I want to see the data. I should have 4 orders. And then let's see the order ID, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't insert 1, 2, 3, 4. I just used the sequence. And then, you know, whenever a new sequence created, you will insert a new ID, incremental based on the previous value, incremental by 1. Is that clear to you? Is that clear to you guys? Okay, this is a very powerful one because in your term project, I don't expect you to, you know, insert a value 1 by 1 because you need to create a lot of pseudo records. Okay, this is a very powerful way that you can create a records without inserting the exact number. Okay, it will save you a lot of time. Okay, now let's go back to the Word documents. So you can select the data from customer, okay, by yourself. You know, let's also run a, you know, one. No, you can also update the records. Say you want to change the customer, you know, for whose, you know, a city is Boston, you want to change their state, you know, become, you know, Massachusetts. So if I choose the customer table right here, and then let me look at the data. So I have some customer right here. I have 1 customer right here, you know, living in Boston, but the state is wrongly put as Georgia. I want to modify that problem. So I just copy. What I can do is I use the code right here. I'll copy these ones. I'll update the customer table. For those customers whose city in Boston, I want to make sure the state equal to Massachusetts. I copy, come here and paste the code. And let me run that. Let me run the code. So 1 row updated. 1 row updated. So if I update the resource and then come back to the customer table, let's also update records. So right now, for this customer, Troy, the state become Massachusetts. That's correct. Okay, now here is the beef. Okay, you can all run the following code by yourself, but here is the beef. Now for this one, I have these 4 records. You can copy all of them. I want to run them 1 by 1, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay? All these customer records. Let's run them 1 by 1. This is the first line. I have this. I want to insert the records, you know, into the customer table. The value is 40. Customer name Don, Warwick Street, 222 site, Los Angeles, California, and 2007. I'm running these codes. Okay, 1 row updated. I'm running the second one. Insert into, I was inserting the customer value 40. Now I'm inserting an order value. Copy the second line and go to Oracle. I'm going to run it. Wow, I'm running into error. Can someone tell me what is wrong? Why am I having errors right here? What does error message mean? Can someone tell me? I'm inserting the order, is the next value system date, that's today's dates. And this, is empty, probably, I'm not sure what's that states. And then the order amount is 1,000. And then the customer value, equal to 45. Can someone tell me why am I having these error codes? Do not insert value that violate the constraints. IDK. Sarah, what does IDK mean? Can you elaborate? Value constraint. Yes, Aman, you are also correct. Can someone be more specific? Is it value? Okay. You are in the right direction. You don't know. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Okay. The arrow because 45. If you look at the customer data, is there any customer ID equal to 45? We have 10, 20, 30, and 40. But now we are inserting a value that customer ID equal to 45. This is not correct. This is not correct. Okay? Okay, that's why we are violating the constraint, because we are inserting a child that has no parents. Customer ID is a foreign key in the order table, but there's no customer that's 45. Okay? The last line. Let's copy the last line. Okay? I'm inserting order value, order sequence, and customer ID equal to 10. Okay, but I have a null right here. Let's see what's the problem we're going to have. I'm going to this screen and copy and run the code. I'm violating something again. Yes, cannot insert null. We cannot insert null, okay? Give me a second. Let's order table. In the order table, in these columns, okay? Status, there's something cannot be null. Which one cannot be null? Status cannot be null. Remember that when we create a status table, we have this specified. Status need to be one of the three. Status need to be either S, NS, or BO. But when I insert the value, right here, the status is null. It violates the value constraints. It has to be S, NS, or BO. That's why, when I insert a value and that is violating my constraints, it's telling me error. Okay, that's because the null right here. Do you understand? Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you, Asita, Marshall, Ashish. Okay, this is very important. And I guarantee you this will show up in the exam. I just because you cannot violate your own constraints. The child data you insert, you want to make sure the value in your foreign key is already exist, in the primary key of the parent table. Okay, so we are running out of time. You can try the rest by yourself. Okay, all these queries, I think these are not more complicated than homework 2. Okay, so a few reminders before we conclude our class today. First, you're going to see a result for milestone 3. You're going to see a result for homework 2. And Paye already sent you the answer for homework 2. Okay, your grade for homework 2 will not be beautiful for everybody, okay? But I'm giving all the answers, all the explanation today. So I'm also recording that. You want to make sure you go through all the results, okay? The midterm, the second midterm shouldn't be more difficult than homework 2, okay? The Word documents. Sarah, which Word document are you talking about? Are you talking about these ones? The one I show you is in iCollege, okay? So Michael, you're asking what else do I record using as a study source for the test, recommend. I will send you some selected answers, for chapter 6 and 7. I guarantee Olena, but I was double checking that part. You can use that as a second source or reference, okay? If I would recommend you in terms of order of study, first is the PowerPoint for chapter 6 and 7, 2 and 4, especially chapter 6 and 7. Second is homework 2, because there's a lot of example, a lot of knowledge you need to use for midterm, and then for your term project. So let me just put it down. The second one is a PowerPoint file. The second one is homework 2, and the answers, okay? Homework 2, milestone 3, okay? And the answers, okay, sent by email. And then the third one is the textbook for chapter 2, 4, 6, and 7, okay? Priority goes to chapter 6 and 7, okay? Finally, I will send you, selected answers for answer keys. Answer keys, for selected, questions in chapter 6 and 7. But, this is really optional. I don't think the fourth one, helps a lot. I think homework 2, helps tremendously. Okay, depends on how much time you have. I suggest 1 items 1, 2, and 4 are the priority. Okay. Okay, please prepare, to come. Prepare for your budget your time for the traffic for next Friday's exams.